Hello, Jan. Jeff here. Just saw your comment on automated text generation and how that impacts content writing. And I've been kind of working on this for a really long time. Um, and I mean, the one of the official names that's usually used a lot of this time, for generic kind of purposes, is natural language generation (NLG). There's a lot of this in the kind of the technical writing community about NLG and all that, and using it. In other areas, like in the geeky part of the world, um, all the computational linguists and all that, we will usually sometimes, depending on what the usage is, we'll call this automated summarization. Depending on if we're taking like lots of conference abstracts, you want to get information about that and put into a summary, then it's summarization. Um, what you do is kind of taking things and you're making a summary out of it. You're generating your summary from existing content. It's kind of a specific purpose, right? So there are kind of areas where this is are. There are a lot of conferences that talk about this stuff. If you look at the LREC, the Language Resources Evaluation Conference, um, it's been around for 20 years, so it usually has, I think, every 2 years. So there's a lot of conferences with a lot. I mean, they usually have 500 talks at those conferences. So at least there's a lot of people go to it. So there's a lot of stuff about that. So you'll find a ton of stuff about that, and about the tools that exist. And a lot of university folks are using this stuff, and even people in the industry and kind of the business field that are kind of using it. So there's a lot of cool stuff out there. Uh, For me, it comes down to a problem of data privacy and confidentiality and all that kind of stuff. Because I mean, I used to work in companies that would build these or translation tools, right? So, or even writing tools, and I've worked in stuff like spell checkers too, and all kinds of stuff. So I mean, this is all related to content writing or translation, or speech, whatever, involved of the different kinds of parts of it, subtitles and everything. So. But the thing is that there's an issue when you work on those kinds of tools, one thing, but then when you work for a big company that has a lot of content, you don't want it to kind of leak out. That's my situation, at least currently, or for the past 14, 15 years, where we have to be careful of using certain things. So we don't want the content to kind of be given to these tools, right? So there's that kind of situation of being able to use tools, and this is something that people that create content have to think about. They really need to think about this, and you got to make sure that the tool you're using isn't going to be using your content and sucking it in and then using it again. This is one of my main concerns I have to deal with all the time. And when I make sure that if I'm looking at anything that's licensable, open free or open source, freeware, shareware, or whatever, and open source, or you can customize it yourself, or licensable stuff at different levels, right? I always have to think about this. So just because content can be used to train, and then it's kind of bad when it comes out and you don't want it to come out, right? So that's kind of a big thing. So so yeah, there's a lot of stuff out there in the world. Just people have to think about what they want to use it on, and feeding and using their own data to train stuff. Just have to be careful. And make sure that the tool is able to handle all the data privacy kind of stuff and the levels of confidentiality, and that's depending on their context, right? Now, for this kind of stuff, doing it on my own content I've published, like my hundreds of publications, there's no problem because it's already published, right? But everything I'm working for work content, internal, I work a lot of content that's internal and or confidential, so there's a lot of that. So I have to be really careful of that. But yeah, this is a great expanding field. Lots out there, and anything to speed up the process of creating more content without writing everything over again and rehashing the stuff and reinventing the wheel. It's always something to think about and consider. So hope that helps a little bit, and thanks for your post.